Okay, so we are going to go ahead and solve some one-step equations with this lesson. So when you're doing this, I want you to think about the equal sign as a line where the left-hand side and the right-hand side are absolutely equal. The entire goal of this question is to get all of the variables on one side of the equation. In this case, I'm going to try to do that on the left-hand side, and all of the numbers on the right-hand side. So I do that in this case by adding 13 to both sides of my equation, and then going through and adding down. So I take the x and I bring the x down. There, that's a little bit better. Then over here, negative 13 plus 13 is 0. So I don't have to write the 0 down, and I get x is equal to, on this side of the equation, I have negative 1 plus 13, which is equal to 12. Then to go ahead and input that into my Open Math, this is already set up with x is equal to, and I just go ahead and hit a 12 in my number keyboard and then hit submit question. It's fantastic. I got my check arrow so I know it's right. If you wanted to get a similar question to practice this, just go ahead and hit similar question. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one that I have here. All right, so the next question I have here, you'll see that on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the equation, my x is now on the right-hand side. So I'm actually going to do this question two different ways. So the first time, because I notice that my variable is on the right-hand side, I want to get my variable by itself on the right-hand side. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do that by, again, doing the opposite of the number that I have. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides of that equation. My x will come down. So that is going to be x is equal to, and over here on the other side of the equation, I have a negative 28. And I add 13 to that, and that equals a negative 15. Now, I want to show you this a different way, just in case you started a little bit differently. We'll get the same answer either way, but something interesting happens here. If I rewrite this equation as negative 28 is equal to negative 13 plus x. Let's say that you are in the habit and you always go ahead and try to move the numbers over to the right-hand side first. So your first step was to add 28. All right, when you do that, something very interesting happens over here on the left-hand side. This negative 28 plus 28, you actually have to write 0 this time. So then I get 0 is equal to 15 plus x. But I still need to get x all by itself. And the goal with this one is if I want to now move the x to the other side of the equation, I would subtract x from both sides. And that leaves me with negative x is equal to 15. Now notice, this is not my final answer, because when you're solving for a variable, you always need to make sure the coefficient or the number in front of the variable is equal to 1. So what you have to do with this is multiply both sides or divide both sides by a negative 1. and that leaves me with x is equal to negative 15. So you can see doing this both ways that one has a much shorter number of steps. So it's really important when you're looking at these and the equation that you start with, notice where the variable is. In this case, the variable is on the right-hand side. So move all of the numbers to the left, and that will solve it, and that will make the problem have many less steps than if you do it the other way.